Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and today I'm sitting with my friend Gabby Bach. Gabby Bach is the is it assistant or just editing manager?
Managing editor
Managing editor
of
at
Beauty
Beauty
Launchpad.
Launchpad. So we're back. If I'm stuttering, it's because I haven't done this in a little bit. You know, I was off pretty much all summer, but here we are back to recording podcasts, and I am not happier than I am right now. Gab, what's up?
What is up? It's been fun to get to be sitting down again and recording episodes because I know we did a lot of stuff live and in person, so it's fun to be getting back to chatting, I guess, in our seats behind in the interwebs,
On
like
the
just
interweb.
recording episodes again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and hopefully we moved over from Zoom to Riverside, so hopefully our videos and stuff look a little bit better. To talk inside baseball for just a second, like for about 6 months, I was pretty disappointed with the stuff that we are getting from Zoom. So I'm more than ecstatic to be over here on this side, on the Riverside of recording. So we get better. We're just getting. I'm really happy with the video that we're getting. Certainly, if you're going to post any videos, if you're listening and you're going to post any videos, I would definitely look at Riverside. They are a legitimate company, and the way that they do things is pretty doggone cool. So it's been fun. How have you liked it, Gab?
It's great. I was just looking at the episode that you put out today, which is the one you did with Gino talking about hair aid, and I was like, this looks great. Like the quality of it is super good. And obviously, like I noticed when we were recording it, I was like, oh, this looks a little bit fuzzy. But like once you edit it and everything uploads, right? Like it looks so clean and so beautiful. It's great. It's fun to get to try out different platforms and
I certainly
different
didn't mean
things.
to make this a commercial for Riverside.
Not sponsored,
It's
but
real
here we
talk.
are.
Not sponsored by Riverside. We don't even have an affiliate link or anything. But listen,
Maybe one day.
yeah, maybe one day. Hey, Riverside, if you're
Manifest.
listening in, we're big fans of your product there. Gabs, I'm pretty excited about the conversation today, and here's why. It's just so nerdism, and it's just like me. But I don't really use LinkedIn that much. But last week I was on LinkedIn. Actually, I was posting about our podcast or that it was up and coming, and our guest today actually posted something on LinkedIn that I thought was very, very interesting. Today on the podcast, we have Charity. She's the CMO of Vagaro, and they've got some new stuff that they're launching that I kind of want to talk about. I find it pretty interesting, and I kind of find it like almost forward thinking, and I haven't really seen it from other companies, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Should we just bring Charity in and get
No,
rocking
no,
and
no, no, no,
rolling?
no, because aren't you working with them a little bit?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let me tease that. Vagaro is always been a huge supporter of Beauty Launchpad. They did last year our September October cover with John Mosley on the cover, and it's a cool cover. He always just looks so swaggy. That's such a I cringed saying that, but he does. He has just like a
So did
swagger
he.
to him. Yeah. No, but he looks so cool. He like has his shades on and he's like holding up a mobile phone. It has the Vagaro logo on it. It's cool. And then there's a whole little piece inside the magazine. They did a piece with us in our July-August issue, and they have another piece coming up in our September-October issue. They have an Instagram takeover that they're doing with us to talk about what I believe is an event they have upcoming in Napa Valley. So they're a huge partner, supporter of Beauty Launchpad. We love and adore them. And Charity actually is going to be in our piece for our September-October issues. She provided some quotes for it, talking about how Vagaro helps owners, like salon owners who have multiple businesses or multiple
Yeah.
locations, be able to streamline what they're doing. So that's what that piece is about. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening over
But like the
in
Instagram
the Vagaro
takeover
world.
is, if you're listening to this, it's today, right? It's like
Yeah, it
almost
should be
there.
today. Should be August 25th. So
That's
if
it,
you're
man.
listening on August 25th, check out Beauty Launchpad's Instagram stories and see what's going on over in the world of Vagaro. I know they have a lot of exciting stuff happening, and this is just a nice little additional treat on top of that. So let's bring Charity in and let's chat. Let's do it.
Charity, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. And by the way, John Mosley is the swaggiest person I know. He makes everything look cool, like super effortlessly. But
Well,
he's
that's
amazing.
because he's so effortlessly cool, man.
Oh my God, I don't know. He walks into a room and it's crazy just walking. Like I've been to trade shows with him and just walking around the trade show and all the people that are like taking photos and things like that. And I feel like a groupie. Like it's amazing. But then you see him on stage and how he educates and how he actually works with people and gives them real authentic advice. And you see why. Like you see the reason why. You know, some people are just kind of like Instagram famous. He is definitely authentically famous. So I love that. But yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I'm super excited to have a good convo. Yeah, we do have a lot of great,
Absolutely.
exciting things that are going on. And I wish I was there in the studio with you because it's so cool. Maybe next time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe. Oh, we'd love that. That'd be awesome, Charity. Hey,
Yeah.
Charity. So last time we chatted with Vagaro, you guys had just done the acquirement of Schedulicity.
Yeah.
What have you guys? Well, first off, I guess the first question is, how has that transition been going? A, and then B, what are you guys up to? As
Um,
far as that goes.
as far as Schedulicity goes, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's been amazing. First of all, Jerry, the CEO of Schedulicity, is just like, he's really inspirational and his, story, and he's so heartfelt. Like I went to Bozeman where their main office is, and literally walking around Bozeman, everybody knows him. So you feel,
I've done that walk.
yeah, you feel the love, you feel the passion from him, and he absolutely aligns with what I spend most of my day thinking about our customers and figuring out how to make them successful. What do we need to do? How do we talk to our customers? How are they using the software? Is there a better way to do it? And he absolutely 100% aligns with that. So I think this whole merriment between the two, it was perfect. It was super aligned. And if you hear our CEO talk about it, it's kind of like Jerry and Fred knew each other way back. And they were, didn't realize, I think, at the time how competitive, the landscape of it was going to be. And then coming back full circle to this to see like how aligned they really are has been freaking awesome to like just watch and see that all unfold. But yeah, I mean, now we are, we've adopted, gosh, I think they had maybe 11,000 folks that are on Schedulicity. We're all now one big happy family with one big happy community, which is great. I've been like really spending some time really learning about the Schedulicity community, which is super important. I spend like probably, I want to say over half of my day just trying to learn about the Vagaro community, also Schedulicity community, and just the industry in general. And it's been really great. A lot of positive feedback for sure.
That's awesome. I started using Vagaro, I guess, the end of June. I've been really happy with it. I'm really happy with what I'm most happy with, honestly, is the payment system. And how easy and flawless the payment system is. I mean, that's been huge for me and my clients. I mean, honestly, Charity, whenever there's a switchover, certainly with your scheduling app, same thing. I mean, as a hairstylist, I figure out like whatever I need to learn, I'll learn. But how easy of a transition is it for our customers, which is what it comes down to, and that's been really nice as well.
Yeah, that's actually a myth buster, right? Because we have a lot of customers that have grown up through the software. So we've been around for probably 16 years now. I think the exciting thing for me is just watching those that were like solopreneurs back in the day, maybe they rented a salon suite or they, just rented a chair, and now they have like, two salons or even just one salon with like employees. And it's like really crazy to watch that transition happen, but it's also super rewarding. So it's kind of a myth buster because we've seen like we have all different levels of customers in the software, but it's just been amazing to watch. And we've grown with them, right? So over time we learn what our community needs. And so those are the things that we're building in the system. So we learn from them, they learn from us, and we're growing together, which has been freaking awesome.
Yeah. I know another thing. Well, I guess one of the things we can talk about in terms of new stuff that Vagaro has going on, you have it just recently came out for textured hair. Do you want to talk about sort of what I want to let you talk about it, sort of what that new launch is and sort of like the process behind launching it and putting it out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have texture. It used to be more textured. So as I've like grown up, and you get older, your hair changes, especially all the stuff that you do to it. But and then I have a sister who has her hair is really full and thick. And then I have another sister whose hair is kind of straight. We're all mixed, half Filipino, half African American, and so kind of growing up, my mother had to deal with like all these three different types of hair, including her own because she's Filipino, and she didn't know what to do with it. And so, it's almost like curly hair, textured hair. It's its own culture. Like you have to think differently about like I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of we probably use more products for curly hair, absolutely different products and like how you treat it. But over time, and once I've been with Vagaro for almost 5 years now, and I've been going around to all of these different trade shows. I go to so many every year. And one of the common themes that I hear from hairdressers really is like, hey, we feel underrepresented in this kind of industry. And so there's levels to it, right? There's the hairdresser that feels kind of underrepresented in the industry, but then there's also the client that feels underrepresented in the community because there's levels to it, right? So as a client, you want to be able to go to any salon anywhere, right? It's that's comfortable for you and be able to get your hair done, have somebody that has an expert in your type of hair. And then from a hairdresser perspective, you're trying to and from Vagaro, we're trying to match make you with those clients that are looking for the services that you provide as well. So I don't know, after a few years and really kind of thinking about it, we're starting to make this pivot. And the first kind of iteration of that is, so we have a lot of data and intelligence. We're a tech company, so that's all the boring stuff. But from all that data and intelligence, what we can see is we saw this growing population in textured hair services like silk wraps and things like that. And so it's like, okay, well, there's like this underrepresented community. We're seeing all these services grow in Vagaro. What can we do next? So in our marketplace, where we have like millions of people that go to our marketplace looking for services every day, we decided to put up a textured hair badge. And so this way the clients can find your services way easier, right? And they don't have to feel uncomfortable with calling and or trying to figure out, hey, can you handle my type of hair? Do you have this type of service? Is this something that you can do? And you can look for that person in your area, right? Super cool. And then the elevated part to that is now we've automated it. So once you join Vagaro, or if you're with Vagaro, based on your services, we've automated it. So if you have silk wraps or curly hair, any type of treatment, those services Vagaro will automatically give you that textured hair badge. You don't even have to think about it. We're just going to give you the clients that are looking for you without you even having to think about it. So that is something new. And to be honest, like now after we've turned that on, I went to HairCon in the UK. And then all the customers that I've been talking to are just really like, thank you. I've sat down with InnerSense last week and some of their educators, and they said, this is a game changer. Something so small to be a game changer, where clients can actually find you based on your services is amazing. It's what it's all about, right?
That's amazing. You actually took my follow-up question, because my follow-up question was like, how do I qualify to get it? So you took that. So it's completely automated, which makes it even better, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, even as a provider, it's really nice too, because you're avoiding maybe a call that isn't going to work out as a client, and the
Yeah.
opposite of that, right? So like, nobody's going to call me if I don't have the badge, the textured hair badge. Then ideally, nobody's going to call me to see if I do that or if I don't do that.
Yeah, and you may be a salon that doesn't normally or maybe perceived as not offering services for curly hair or textured hair, but you actually do. So then this is a great point for those salons too, right? Because they wouldn't normally be and so somebody calling might feel uncomfortable saying, "Oh, well, they don't look like they may, handle curly or textured hair." Instead of making the assumption, we're telling you there that they actually do, which is really great.
That's awesome. So on that automatic criteria, what are you what are you looking for on your side as a tech company? Like what can I put in my service window that would get me a badge?
Okay, so we have a whole list, and we actually have a focus group right now that's helping us like really define the list for sure. So there's a list, but what we did is you can come into Vagaro and you can classify yourself as a textured hair salon or having that as a specialty. So we went to those businesses that already classified themselves and we took inventory of what all their services were, and that was kind of our starting point. Now that we have that really great starting point, we built a focus group where we're like, okay, here's our starting point, but are there more services that we that are not thinking about? And so when you join Vagaro, we automatically can recommend services for you so that you don't have to populate them yourselves, or you can populate them yourself as well. And there's certain keywords that'll help kind of trigger. And so all of this is happening. It's like this whole AI generation thing. All this is happening is just super automatic for you. So the list is getting longer, which I think is really, really great. And we're not the experts. We're not the hairdressers. We're the technology. So we're definitely going to the industry to ask them, how do we continue to compile this list? Because we want to do it justice for you guys. And so that list is growing and growing over time for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Because I know the other thing is we have a piece in our September, October issue, which Vagaro is obviously also in, talking about textured hair and some of the different initiatives and things that are happening. We're also seeing the textured hair education become mandatory in cosmetology schools, right? Like there's states that are passing legislation for that. So it's something like the next generation of stylists is going to be learning as well. So it's not only helpful for the current beauty pros that are in the industry that have their businesses, right? It's also helpful for the ones that are up and coming and are going to be learning those services to be able to really say, I know how to do these things and be able to reach the clientele that needs those services, right? That is underrepresented, like you mentioned. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
great.
I mean, it's all about inclusivity, right? And just, if I'm one of the most popular kind of case scenarios that we have, I'll give you my sister, for example. My husband and I next weekend we're doing our vow renewal because we've been married for 25 years. Really long, really dates.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations to him. I mean,
So my sister's driving out from LA and she's got the really thick, full, kind of really textured curly hair, and she just wants a blowout. And so she was kind of looking, she's like, "Oh, I saw you posted something about that textured hair badge. I don't want like a full service. I literally just want to get my hair blown out." And she was just talking to me about the challenges of just even that. And so everyone lives it every single day, but that's like one of our case studies is you're traveling, you're going on vacation, you're going to do this. Like, how do you find someone in that area to be able to do that? And that's why we even started Vagaro, is because Fred was traveling and wanted a haircut, and he's just like, how do I find somewhere to get a haircut? Right. And so making it very easy for them to find, but also just comfortable with that inclusivity is really, really important.
that's amazing. Are there other services that you guys badge for?
Right now, it's LGBTQ, and we also have a couple of others that we're actually adding. Do you have any suggestions, Corey? Because we're really looking at this, and now that we have some automation in the background, we can really make suggestions to our customers. So we're really trying to build a list of these
I would
different.
definitely say like barbering haircuts, not just from
Yeah,
barbers, but I know that there's certainly maybe this is the backwards of kind of looking at it, but there's certainly people that don't offer barbering services.
yeah,
So maybe if that was a standout on a page, that might be useful there. I mean, certainly like lived in and stuff like that as well.
yeah, yes,
That kind of stuff, just people that really specialize, or hairstylists that really specialize in those kind of things. I mean, if I sat on it for more than a couple minutes, maybe Vivets would be a nice one too. If you're
oh,
a
that's
That'd
great.
be
specialist,
fun.
Vivets is a specialization, I should say. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
I
Yeah,
That kind of
think
stuff.
some other things that come to mind, if you don't mind me chiming in, just 'cause I had some ones that popped up for
please.
like sustainability. So if it's like a sustainable or eco-friendly salon, I don't know if you guys have something specific for that, but
Oh,
I know
that's
we talk to a lot of salons who are like specifically like, I'm a sustainable salon and I recycle or anything like that. So having
That's a
something
great
like
one.
that could be
that is
really cool. Or the other thing that came to mind is like, because it's Hair Loss Awareness Month, as we're chatting in August, like anyone that does like head spas or like services for like scalp cleansing, or because there's a whole bunch of brands that are launching services for that, so anything that's like
I would also,
hair wellness related stuff like that
to
could be
kind of
good.
jump on what you were saying, Gab. I'm also wondering, like, does it make sense to team up with like a green circle salon or something? Like something that would have like
that's
actual
a
their
great idea.
logo,
Yeah.
like have
Yeah, the
their
green
logo.
beauty community has a whole, like, they're building a whole little community, and I think they have a whole, like, they're having people sign up, right, who are sustainable salons, and they're curating and building a whole network too. So it's like there's that exists already, but having it, in a
That is
salon, like a schedule
That
could be
is a
great too. Yeah.
huge, yeah, that's a huge deal of, I don't want certain chemicals, gluten-free, like, so even the hair dye that I prefer, because I have like a celiac, I prefer it's like a gluten-free dye. So those are really amazing. And also, like, I have two sons that go to barbers. So just kind of going back to the barber scenario, but they have really long hair. They have this big kind of long hair. And traditionally when they go to the barber, they have to go to get their barber to get lined up, and then they need to go to a hairdresser then to go get their hair trimmed and cut. They have to go to two separate places. And so my older son, he uses Vagaro to book his barber appointments. He goes, Mom, it'd be really great if I could really find a barber that actually could do both, right? Instead of me having to like make two different appointments and go to two different places. So that's even next level. But yeah, I love all the ideas.
That's right. Actually, if you're listening into this and you have some suggestions, drop them down in the comments there. I'm sure we could read them, and there's got to be a thousand different things to think about, at least.
Absolutely, yeah, love that.
Yeah, that would be, and even like silent appointments and stuff. I know that people are offering now silent appointments and things. So that might be a good one as well.
Yeah, like sensory safe and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I would
really
just
great.
if there's 1,000 badges, does it just become white noise at some time too? So
Yeah.
how do you do it and keep
Well,
attention
part
to
of
it?
it, I think part of them will be, some of them will be badges, but then some of them could just be filters, when you're running a search. And how
Oh,
do
that's
I
a great
get
idea.
ones that are the most relevant to us, and what you're looking for. I think that'd be great. One other one that I was looking into that might be great is sometimes we go to, bachelorette party or bridal, shower or whatever, and you want to find the actual salon or nail salon or whatever it is. You want to get massages at your bachelorette getaway, like that can handle a bachelor, or has like a bridal a package or something like that, events like for prom, like who specializes in kind of prom looks and those types of things. I think that's really great too. That's one of the
And
filters.
even to that point, I mean, like updo services or wedding services or something like that. I mean, that's definitely like a specialty as well. So, all of that stuff, all that stuff, man. If you use
I know.
any of
Look
those, I
at
want
this.
to be tickled that we
We're
talked about it on
building
the
this
podcast.
together. I know. I'm literally going to take all of this to our dev team right after this. I love it.
Be like, that's awesome. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'd be tickled. Gabby, I'd be tickled if we get some representation there.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Like a little podcast badge on there.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Whatever.
Anyway, no, but it's fun to get to watch the innovation happen, right? And just brainstorm it. And I love how collaborative the industry is, right? That we can even have these conversations and be like, hey, like, here's something that we could do to innovate. And then you see the progress happen. I think that's, not having a cosmetology license, and I like learning so much about this hair world, coming into it now a little over 3 years being in the industry. I love seeing the innovation and little moments being a part of it and stuff. So that's cool.
I'm glad you brought that up, Gabby, because I was actually thinking when we were talking about partnering up with some of the other organizations and stuff, like that would really as a hairstylist, I would get a sense that you are about the industry as a whole, as opposed to everything being so Vagaro logoed or so Vagaro speak about. It would oh, okay, they are actually in it for the industry and not just to grab my subscription thing. Not to be so crass about it, but
No.
that's real to me. You know what I mean? Like I love that we're in a collaborative space, and I wish that more of the brands would collaborate as well, and not just the L'Oreal brands, but like the brands all over. Why do I always shit on L'Oreal? I don't know.
Do you really?
No, not really. Not really. I
No,
just use them
we love 'em.
as the example because they have
They're
1,000
massive.
different brands. So if the brands are working within L'Oreal, it doesn't feel as genuine than if you're really cross the umbrella companies.
Well, look, the software is going to be the software. We have hundreds of engineers that are building every day, right? So we're always going to innovate. We're always going to try to think ahead. And with all the AI and technology, that's going to even move faster as we move forward. But we have what we call user voice, which is our, it's, you may have talked about that or heard Fred talk about it before. Basically, all of our users get to go to user voice, and they get to either ask for a feature or, want to enhance a particular feature. That is so important. And now we have an initiative where we go back, and so every single call that we get from support or review that we get that says hey, I would really love this, or it would be great if Vagaro did that, we correlate that. So right now we're going through that process right now to figure out what our roadmap looks like next year. So the software is going to be the software, but at the end of the day, if you're not listening to the industry, you're not listening to what the needs are and how, things are evolving and changing, that's going to be a huge miss. huge miss. And it doesn't make any sense for you to have a software that doesn't really work for your users, right? As we have to keep evolving and growing as the industry, the beauty industry keeps evolving and growing. Like what you were saying, Gabby, is like a lot of the salons are now adding like wellness services. So adding wellness services, how do we support them better on Vagaro to have that like variety of services? So like last year is when we implemented that feature, was just like an add-on. So like a client can go and maybe they're booking a haircut or a color or something like that, but then they also want to go, they also suggest on Vagaro based on what our customer wants to do, whether, hey, did you want to try a head spa that day as well? And they can automatically upsell. So those types of things, you know, make a huge, huge, huge difference in the industry. But again, like you said, the software is going to be the software, but it's really like, how do we matter? How do we matter in the sense of like this whole industry and where the industry is going?
Yeah, I mean the software is the software, but I think so often brands forget that that this industry is people based. We're not numbers. Like my people are my clients. And I'm hopeful that in charity's eye, I'm your people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the trickle down of this whole thing. I the better that you can support me, support my people, then the more loyal that I'm going to be to you. The second I feel like a number, like I don't at this point in my career, I just won't mess with you anymore.
Yeah.
I kind of learned that through COVID. I learned that which talking more about liquid brands, but which liquid brands showed up for the hairstylist, and which liquid brands went to fleece our own clients. Like I took note of that. And not that I took it personal, but I took it personal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you mentioned AI, and you mentioned how Vagaro is using AI on the back end. But is there talks about how we, as the users of Vagaro, can use AI within Vagaro, or is that something that's already happening?
It's already happening. So AI is already in Vagaro. So even from the moment that you sign up on Vagaro, we prompt you with AI to help you build your service descriptions, your business descriptions to kind of build out your listing page. And we have AI now on our My Site, which is basically your website builder. And we have AI in your all of your marketing, so your email marketing, your text marketing. So AI is fully built. And then Connect, which is our communication app for our businesses. There's AI built in there too, so you can build some automation and kind of how you talk and communicate back and forth with your customers, which is super cool because you're doing hair all day, right? Or you're a tattoo artist doing tattoos all day. You don't have time necessarily to go back and forth. So a lot of that is like, hey, if somebody just wants to verify their appointment, can we just verify their appointment without me having to go back and, do all this? So AI
Okay.
and where we're going with the future of AI, I wish I could talk about, but I'm super excited. And it's gonna change lives. I feel like it took a while for us to really, not us at Vagaro, but just us as humans to like really adopt to that. It's kind of like when the smartphone came out, right? We're just like, oh my God, what is this? And now like we're all walking around with this handheld computer basically all day. Same thing with AI. Eventually AI is gonna not be AI. It's just gonna be something that's like electricity. You just need it. You need to use it like the internet. Everything's
Mhm.
online, right? So you need to use it. And so that's where we're moving to. Like that's the best way I could describe it, is this, that AI is just gonna be there doing all the things in your Vagaro for you.
That's amazing. Well, you have an open chair here. Whenever you guys go to launch that, let's please come on and talk about it. I am absolutely obsessed with AI, I'm
Are
obsessed
you?
with AI, but I have, yeah, completely. I mean, literally since ChatGPT launched to the public, like I've been using it literally since day one. And like you said, like the first time I use it, I'm like, write me a story about, my grandson. You know what I mean? And that's the way that it
Uh,
was used. I'm so far away from like that. To be fair, like it was Christmas morning. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So I'm sitting there, how do I use this? And now, like, I'm not having it write stories, anymore. I'm having it create all kinds of stuff. I made the joke on another podcast that I realized through AI that I'm way more creative than talented, but AI gives me the talent. Like I can like I'm sparkling off. Like I'm like, oh, this is a great idea, and then I put it out. Like where normally I wouldn't have the means to, or the talent. We'll put talent. I would have the talent to achieve it, but I'm finding that I'm pretty creative, and honestly, it's good for my own mental health because it gives me some place to put that energy.
No, totally. Like I'm addicted to AI too. It's almost like what did we do with before Google Maps, right? Or Apple Maps or like whatever, and it's like
I mean,
we
I
were
don't
so
even on that note, I don't even use Google anymore.
oh, you just
Just use chat. Yeah. Like I want this and set me up links if I want to buy something. Like, find me the cheapest. Like I literally the other day or Sunday, I was looking for a microwave. Like, this is the features that I want in a microwave. Find me this, and then like it'll like source it about which ones, and then I find one and like, okay, send me the link. Send me the link to the cheapest one you can find. I mean, you talk about like easy. It was like a 10-minute kind of thing.
I mean, so Gabby, like, I don't know what your thoughts are, but do you feel like the beauty industry is like fully, just like Corey, embraced AI, or you think we're still?
Yeah, that was actually what I was gonna mention. So I am, and I mean not to drop my age, but I'm 24. I'm gonna be 25 at the end of the
Dropper.
year. So that's still, I mean, the point is to say is that I'm younger than a lot of people in the industry, right? Like I'm fully, I consider myself as a millennial. I don't like considering myself Gen Z. It's not worth conversing about here. But anyway, point being is that it's funny because I see someone like Corey who is like my parents' age and being again, none of it, like it's not none of this, but it's funny because it's seeing how interesting, like how pro AI you are in adopting the technology. Because I feel like a lot of people who are, and it is like a weird camp to be in because I feel like a lot of people who are my age who like, grew up with the smartphone, the technology, and you think would be really technology forward are very averse. And I think it's just because maybe I'm with a lot of friends with a lot of people who are like in creative spaces, who are like artists or like editors if they work in like movie and TV and film, and have that fear of like, is AI gonna come for my job, or I can't do what I can do, but it's still being used by like movie studios and different ways. And so it is interesting because it's like I have one foot in a camp of people who are very like anti-AI, and then I have another foot in the camp professionally, like working in the beauty industry, of people who are super pro AI and use it for all their services and see the way that it's integrated into things. And so it's kind of interesting seeing both perspectives of people who are like, AI might not be very environmentally friendly, and then people who are like, but it's super innovative and it's being like, integrated into all these services that we use and it makes your life more efficient. And I have dabbled in using it a little bit just because, being an editor of a beauty magazine, I'm running our social media, writing our web content, putting together our magazine content, right? Like there's a lot of stuff I'm doing daily. And so if it can like help me pop out an Instagram caption, or just like help me, like if I'm having like a writer's block, like create a structure for an article and just help me be able to get through all the things I have to do daily, I think it's a plus. But I'm very like also, and I think, this industry is as well, talking about being people first, like not wanting to take away, the creative license that people have, and sort of the way that like computers can't replicate like human emotions, human art, like the things that are just like come from, innately being a human being. And so I think it's a weird camp to be in because the innovation isn't going to stop, right? And it's going to be built into everything that we do. And I think you have to embrace it, but it's about being smart about it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I
not
agree.
letting it take away the things that make us human.
I think there will be a point where, a lot of people are adverse to like AI just because, right now it's still new and it's growing and it's moving and it's evolving and changing. I do think there will be a point where people do become like, okay, this is too big, but that's a certain group. And then I feel like there's a group where they're just kind of like my kids, where they just they just grew up on, streaming. So they don't even watch regular TV. They're like, why are you watching cable? Like, what is that
What is that
even?
thing on the
Right.
wall?
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I feel like there's gonna be a point where there will be kind of this adverse kind of reaction to it, but then there are these generations that are gonna grow up in it, and it's just going to be the norm. It's just gonna be that. But, what I tell my team, because there's always the conversation of whether, like, AI is gonna take our jobs. It's kind of like when, I don't know if this is a good analogy or not, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But like if you're driving a car and you're headed to, you're headed somewhere and you use your GPS, like you're still driving the car. You still need to drive the car, but the GPS is going to help you get there. It's going to help you get there faster instead of making all the wrong turns that you might have made without the GPS. And so those in certain roles, maybe not creative roles, but like kind of in the roles like in marketing and like in kind of our corporate setting, definitely embracing the AI and kind of learning how to use it and learning how to make that your job better. by using it is something I strongly encourage. But that's why I was interested to hear like more on the creative side, like in the beauty industry, like what was kind of the reaction there? Because it could be different, right?
Well, I was having this thought the other day, and it's not thought through, but it's just a thought that I was having. So, why
I
not
have a
like
lot of
talk about it
those.
here? But like, I kind of think that there might be like like an economic shift here, right? Because I think that what AI is really good at is being smart. So my thought is, and again, I haven't thought this through necessarily, so please bash me in the comments. But is that are the trades? Is there going to be a shift to where the trades have more value than intelligence, right? Because if we can punch into a computer and we can have the intelligence there or how to do these things, then what's missing is the stuff that AI can never do. The AI
Yeah.
is never going to be able to diagnose a pipe that's leaking. It's never going to be able to diagnose, something that you actually physically have to be on site to do.
Yeah.
At least not yet, or I don't really see that that's kind of happening. So, does it put more economic power into the trades instead of like where it is now to be a CEO or something, and maybe AI could take that job. I would think that it would take that job before it would take like a plumber's job, or it would take like these trades jobs.
Yeah.
Like if you're a landscaper, like is AI going to be able to come in and landscape?
No. Yeah.
You
That's
know,
a valid point. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very
I kind of think that in 10 years, like this is going to be like the worst podcast ever, because they're going to be like, yeah, we've taken over all of that stuff. However, as we stand right now, I still think that it puts power back into the trade, like it was, 50 years ago.
absolutely. I mean, my son is a film major, and so that's what he worries about because he's saying, like, all these tools, they're all moving to like AI, right? And AI generated. But his thinking is just like, but how is AI going to really evoke the emotion, that someone could have, in different scenarios? So like, will it ever be like truly, truly relatable or not? Like, so I do think I agree with you. I do think that there's certain jobs that need a human, just needs a human touch. Like, for example, the trade. I don't know that I ever want a robot cutting my and dyeing my hair. I don't know. I would want somebody that can actually get in there, feel my hair and tell me like, "Oh gosh, it's dry. It needs this or it's that. Here's my recommendation." And then that my hairstylist is also my therapist. Like I go there and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is what I'm dealing with today." Like they're going to a hairstylist or a barber, there's a culture in that in itself, right? There's an experience in that I look forward to every time I go. And I don't see that ever, me ever wanting that to be taken away.
Yeah, I mean, can I play devil's advocate to your point, Charity?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
please.
this is again, this is all my mind. It's not, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Don't ever take my advice. I'm an idiot. But to that note, here's my concern. And we certainly saw it during COVID. If we're using COVID at times as the example here, is that
Yeah.
if people start losing their jobs and if there isn't like jobs available, A, are you still a priority? And then B, do people really care how they show up if they're not showing up, to their jobs or to look professional or whatever that is. So, to play devil's advocate to that a little bit, I don't think we're anywhere near that.
Yeah.
It's
No, neither.
certainly, but it's certainly like it's a concerning thought that I have. It'd be more. That's way more of my concern than a robot taking my
Yeah.
job. Like I think we're far from a robot taking my job, but wanting to do it, like people wanting to have their hair done is more of my concern. But on the positive note, and again, I've kind of thought this a little bit too, is that if you're within a trade, a job, or whatever, a computer can only, it works backwards, right? So it can predict what happened in the past and use it as modern time. But like if fashion changes, the computer's not going to be able to tell us what the next fashion is, right? Like that kind of stuff. Like marketing, like it's really important that there's a human element to marketing, because whatever these marketing trends is, and we see it literally every 3 months on Instagram or on any platform, like what's the next trending kind of like way that you're getting people's attention, which is all marketing is. Like, how are we getting this attention? Like what, I think we need that kind of human element in there as well. And even with filmmaking, to your son's point, like, tomorrow's stories haven't been told yet.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. 2000% agree. AI is taking the data and the correlation of what's happening now and what happened in the past, just like you said, and it's coming up with, what it thinks, and it's getting smarter and smarter. But the trendsetters, the things, the next phase of this, what that looks like, it's the people that really set that. And it's like what we talked about John Mosley and his swag. Like AI can't recreate that swag, right? Like so there's these types of things that that will never go away. I 2000% agree with you. I don't really worry about people not ever wanting to go get a haircut or like wanting that
Mhm.
personal experience. I do think like looking at my kids and their generation, like they rely heavily on their phone. My son can give me any answer in like 1 second. He can compute it and knows where to go to find it quicker than anybody I know. But him knowing that I think is going to help him in the future because it's going to become the norm, right? At some point. And then how do we kind of navigate that norm for sure?
I always define certainly AI or Chat GPT at this point as the calculator for words, right? That's all it is. It's just a calculator for words. It's it's coming up with a sum within words. It's like when I was a kid. Thank you, Gabby, for pointing out how old I am. But when I was a kid, we weren't allowed to use a calculator in school because what if you can't do math? Well, now
Yeah.
nobody does math. They just use their calculator. So I kind of think like in the future that's going to be the way that it is. I have a client who has a 26-year-old daughter and she has a 13-year-old son. And
Yeah.
her 13-year-old son is not allowed to use AI at all in school. And I make the argument, well, are you helping him because her 26-year-old daughter can only use AI at work? Like they're like more
Yeah.
AI, more AI, more AI. So I think the workplace is changing and maybe, just maybe, the son should be really articulate on how to use AI properly.
No,
Yeah.
I totally agree. But the component that I think needs to be added to that is how do they incorporate their uniqueness into it, right? Because AI is, if you ask AI the same question and I ask AI, at some point you're going to get a very, very similar answer. So where's the unique part of that that expresses my individuality, my thoughts, my emotions? And so like if we don't teach them like how to incorporate that with I think that is a huge miss for sure.
I know how you do it. Textured badges.
To, I guess, completely, well, before we switch track, you brought up John Mosley again. And so one of the things I did want to mention, speaking of innovation, the day that Instagram dropped their repost feature, whoa, the Vagaro put out this post. I have a background so you can't see it, but it's a whole bunch of Labubus in the Vagaro office. And
Yes.
I saw that we got tagged in it and I was like, what's this? And it's the September October cover with John Mosley. And then there's a
Oh
whole
my
bunch of Labubus
God.
reading the
Yeah.
magazine. There we
Yay!
go.
Love
Awesome.
it.
That's
So
awesome. I've been
So
using that refeature a lot too, by the way.
yeah,
love the repost feature. It's great.
I do
That's
too. Yeah,
awesome.
the Labubus were actually, am I even saying it right? But yeah, they were all over the
I don't know.
office. It was that, and then there was like Sephora Day on DoorDash that you can buy something, and I guess you got, if you got $100, you got it for 50% off if you spent like $100. So like our office with all the women that we have in our office, they were ordering Sephora like crazy. So between the two of those, yes, absolutely.
That's
We spent
awesome.
a lot of money that day.
Charity, before we bounce, you got anything to add or want to chat about anything? What are you guys up to?
Should we talk about Iconic 25? I kind of wanted
Yo,
to get
what's
into
that?
that.
Gabby, what is
Iconic
that?
25? Yeah, let's talk about that because I believe that the Instagram takeover that is happening on Beauty Launchpad right now, if you're listening to this episode the day it drops, I believe Vagaro's plans are to talk about Iconic 25. We just did a press release on our website talking about it. I know the event has been online for a while, but it's coming back in person and it's in Napa Valley. Yes. So do you want to tease the event, talk about what's happening, what people can expect?
Yeah, totally. We are bringing Coachella vibes to Napa. So a lot of wine, a lot of Coachella, a lot of fun, but also some education. Super cool. So we have Wella that's going to be there, Tony and Guy, Inner Sense, they're all going to be there. They're going to do, education and they're going to show color and cuts and show product and even wig installations. And they've got a big show with like models. We're going to go through hair texture. Google is going to be there. Google is going to show businesses like how to get their My Business page, their Google business page figured out. And then also like if you're looking to gain more business, how do you place ads? And speaking of AI, like how do you use Google AI to place ads, which is going to be really cool. So it's all kind of happening in the background. And literally you're just like collecting the appointments, right? The bookings. So we have like a huge mix. John Mosey's going to be there. Britt Siva's going to be there. Yeah, we have some
I
really
love.
You love. So it's going to be great. We started off this conference as like a user conference, and now it's become an industry conference. And so the thing we focus on really is like experiential. Like we don't want it to be just like, sessions. We have an awards ceremony. We're actually having a huge festival. You can come get a tattoo. You can get IV drip, from the party the night before. Maybe you need a little bit of an IV drip. Yeah, we're going to be drinking what happens in Napa, stays in Napa, but then also we're going to give like some really great like education and pieces for folks to really take away. And I'm just excited about the lineup that's going to be there because all of these folks really care about the industry. And that's what I look for. Like we can work with, plenty of people, but the people that we care about are people, like you're saying, Corey, our people are the people that like really care and they know what really matters in the industry. So that's what it's all about. It's 2 days of this. And it's October 5th and 6th. Super excited to bring it back in person. Every year we do a survey after. And so our audience said, we want it in person. We want to buy product. We want to not only learn about business, what I need to do with my business, but also I need some new techniques. I want to look at product and how to use different types of products. So we're bringing a whole different variety for them to Iconic.
That's amazing. If you want to do something really cool, you should probably have like a live podcast there doing live interviews
We
at the
actually
event.
are. Oh man, Corey, I should have talked to you about that sooner.
Well,
Let's
maybe
lock
next year, maybe 26.
let's lock you in for next
Iconic.
year.
Yeah, 2026 would be awesome. We love doing those kind of things. I've got to do a couple red carpets and stuff, which I love as well. And I've actually brought us in a couple years ago, actually, and we did some interviews live at her event. That was pretty amazing too. So that's
Brit,
cool.
yeah, Brit is incredible. Like she was at Iconic with us 2 years ago, and I mean, I'm just like in awe of her. Just even her coming off of the main stage and trying to walk out of the room, there were so many tears of in just like emotions of joy because she's like really she's changing businesses, she's changing lives, and like to see it in person was really really like a great experience for me to see. But she's great. She's in it for all the right reasons. I love her.
Great, agree. Can I, if you guys are doing awards, and I've been telling everybody that's doing awards, I'd like to see more of it. I would love to see like a humanitarian award. I would love to see somebody that's doing the work that's not behind the chair. I would love to see somebody that's doing the work. And maybe this is because I'm coming back from Cambodia or whatever, but I would love to see like somebody go like, you know what? You've done some really, really good work within your community, or within our complete community. So, I would love to see that kind of stuff. I'm certainly off air. I could talk to you more
Yeah,
in more detail about that. But
let's talk about it. I'm all for it. A couple years ago, we had an award that went out to a salon called Rare Touch in Fremont, and they go to the jailhouse and they do haircuts and things like that for those that are in the juvenile jails. And we couldn't go in there with them, but the stories and the impact that they make, like, and some of the kids when they were out, they offered them jobs or they helped them to get jobs. Like they were just, I mean, like I was in tears hearing about some of the stories, and they were saying like, this is actually talking to this kid is like talking to my son, and he's like in here for life. And so I see him every 2 weeks, and I give him a haircut, and he just is all smiles. It makes his day. So we gave an award to them a couple years ago, but I would love to continue it, Corey. Like if you have a vision with that, let's partner, let's get together so that we can continue to highlight those people that are doing some really great things in the community. I'm all for it.
there's so many people that are in the community, that are doing the right things. I just wish that we could recognize all of them. I mean, obviously we can't, but there's so many people that are doing such incredible things for their communities, our communities, because it's really our community at the end of the day. All you got to do is scale up a little bit, and it's our community. And the less losers there are in the world, the better the world is. So anybody that's out there doing the good work is incredible. Charity.
Quote on a shirt.
What'd you say?
We need to put that quote on a shirt. The less losers
The less
there
losers
are.
in the world. Yeah, I'm with you, man. That's awesome.
We'll all wear them in our next episode.
There you go.
Thank you. Charity, for chatting with us. I'm so excited for all the wonderful things Vagaro is doing, and thank you for being such a, supporter and partner of Beauty Launchpad. I always love collaborating and doing stuff and seeing, the Vagaro team at trade shows and just getting to be in your presence because you always bring a lot of fun energy, and I imagine that energy will be in Napa as well for Iconic 25. Excited to hear more about that event.
We just can't talk about that, Gabby. Whatever that energy. What happens in
Whatever
Napa
happens in
stays
Napa stays in Napa,
Stays in
apparently.
Napa.
Yeah. Or
That's
heads
right.
to Beauty Launchpad for a post-show press release. We'll see.
Oh,
Anyway,
very good. Very good. I love that.
Anyway, but thank you, Charity, for chatting with us. And just a reminder, check out Vagaro's takeover on Beauty Launchpad's Instagram page. We'll be saving it to our highlights too. So if you're watching this sans October, looks like October is at August 25th, which is when the takeover is happening. You can find the takeover in our highlights. We also have a piece coming in our September-October issue with Vagaro that Charity provided some quotes for, so make sure you check that out as well, talking about how Vagaro helps salons with like multiple locations scale their business. It's a really great piece. And then they just did a piece that's up on our website now talking about no-shows and cancellations and how Vagaro helps businesses out with that Missy Meganson contributed to. It's a great piece. So we love Vagaro. We love everything you guys do to partner with us. And it's so great to get to chat with you.
Thank you. I'm so honored, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I love the vibe. I love the authenticity of the conversation. So let's do it. Let's keep going.
Let's do it. Miss Gabby Bach and Charity Hudnall. Hudnall, right? Did I mess it up?
Hudnall.
Thank you very, very much for joining us on your day.